Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing today? It's good to see all your smiley faces. Yes, we are here back again with you. It's only been, 24 hours since we've been here. That's about it. We do these shows just about 7 days a week, and we come at you live. But then again, those of you who are watching this in the replay, we welcome you as well. I know we emphasize live a lot because we do the broadcast live. That way there, it creates the excitement. Viewers can interact live. Matter of fact, if you want to interact live right now in our exclusive JMS chat room, that's right, we've got a chat room right here. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, you can join the Lovities, the JMS Lovities, as they're called. They're our faithful viewers who watch all the time, and you can chat amongst yourselves. We also see your comments. Sometimes we put some of them on the screen. You can do super chat, super emoji, super stickers, which supports our series as well. And it's just so nice to see all of you here. So when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's the channel you're watching right now. That's Jim Masters TV, where we house the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, which is this show right now. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you have an opportunity to chat with us right here and right now live. If you don't get a chance to do that when the show is live, you can still leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. We really encourage that. We appreciate that. And those of you who have been watching our episodes, some 600 plus episodes we have done of our series, and leaving comments on the YouTube channel, we thank you all for doing that. That helps us big time. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like as well. How's everybody doing today? We had a storm come through here in the northeastern United States. We're here in the New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. And we had a storm come through, knocked power out about an hour ago, knocked the power out, knocked the Wi-Fi out. Phones still going because, when the power goes out through Wi-Fi, it kicks onto the cell phone. But onto the 4 and 5G, it worked, but it was a little dicey because the power went out and we were scrambling. We're like, gee, we've got a show in about an hour live, not a filmed taped one or recorded one, a live one. And it was really crazy. So we had a lot of scrambling we had to do behind the scenes to make sure we were here for all of you as we pull out all the stops through thick and thin. We're always here for you guys to entertain, inform, educate, put smiles on your faces with our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Again, we have done about 600 or so plus episodes, inching on that 650 mark. We may have already reached the 650 mark, 650 episodes of the series with incredible guests and conversations and special events and holiday theme shows, Lovity shows, chat shows, all kinds of cool stuff. But if you want to, again, comment in the live chat, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because it's a gift for our subscribers. That's right, a special gift where you get to chat amongst each other and we get to see the comments as well. Just hit that red button you see there. I know you hear everybody always say that and you're like, oh, okay. There's no cost for that. It's that big red button you see on the YouTube channel. That lets you know that you're a part of the JMS family. Lets us know that too, that you appreciate what we're doing here. And that helps us continue to grow when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And click that notification bell too. So that way there, you'll never miss any of the episodes. You'll never miss any of the episodes because you'll get an alert as well, which is really, really cool. We have a ton of comments. The cell phone is beeping back and forth because probably the power company and the cable company are calling to verify that the power and the cable are restored. Yes, they're restored. We'll answer you in about an hour. Don't you? You're the power company, and don't you know that the power is restored? You're the cable company, the Wi-Fi company, Xfinity. Don't you know that everything's restored? Don't you watch our show? If you watch the show, I'm talking to the cell phone down there. If you watch the show, you would know that everything's restored because we're here. You got to have fun. You got to smile. You got to have levity. And that's one of the things we have on this show, light, love, and levity with all of you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. If this is your first time watching, we welcome you. We've got lots of great music. We've got an extraordinary guest who's joining us, Maureen Taylor, acclaimed actress and singer and so much more, coming to us live from New York City, from Manhattan. And we're very excited to have her here on the show. She is an exceptional talent, wonderful soprano. And yes, if you're looking at the picture right in the center there and you're saying, wait a minute, Is that Maureen with Luciano Pavarotti? Yes, it is. And she's worked with the best of them. She is one of the best of them as well. And we've got a lot of great things to show you, a lot of great conversation coming up. So we thank you again for joining us, making us a part of your day today, whether you're watching live or you're watching this in the replay. Stick with us. We got an amazing show, and continue to tell your friends about our series. That means a lot to us as well. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She loves to inspire and uplift others through musical storytelling, and Cabaret is the perfect vehicle for that. Maureen is known for her critically acclaimed Taylor Made Bob Merrill show, which was part of New York's Cabaret Greatest Hits at the Metropolitan Room. In addition to regional musical theater, Maureen has performed with the Chicago Lyric, Philadelphia, and West Palm Beach companies, the opera companies. She studied with opera stars Renata, Tebaldi, and Carlo Bergonzi in Italy as a result of being a Bel Canto winner. In Switzerland, Maureen got to perform as Madame Giry in Phantom of the Opera, both German and English. And she also lived on a purple bike and got her Reiki certification. In the UK, she performed at Hever Castle, Brighton Pavillion Dome, Theatre Royale, and the London Palladium too, when she was a stand-in for Helen Mirren. Yes. She was also in a comic book musical entitled The Ultimate Man in the Bridewell. Maureen is a soprano soloist in Tim Wheater's Platinum Award-winning CD, Incantation, recorded in Bath, England. Fun fact, she taught musical theater in London, 3 to 16-year-olds. She says, ask her about the 3 to 5-year-olds as well. And of course, Cosmic Connections to Michael Colby, who was just with us the other night here. If you missed that episode, check that out as well. That was a brilliant episode, and Maureen absolutely loved that episode. So she's going to join us right now live. Again, you're looking, I'm sure, at all these great photos you're seeing on the screen there over the years with Maureen. Well, guess what? Here she is live right now with us. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you for working your magic and getting this up, Jim. This is great.
That's it. That's it. Up with the Jim Master Show live. No Wi-Fi or power company is going to stop us, right? We thought first maybe we're doing an April Fool. You know, it is April Fool's Day at the time of the show. And we said, nah, this is going a little bit longer than a typical April Fool's. But there was a little bit of a storm that rolled into the area here and sort of knocked things out a little bit. How about you in the city? Did you get a little rain and wind?
A little tiny bit, but we're doing well here. We haven't gotten what you got, but then again, you look so relaxed and so at peace about it all. So more power to you.
That's it. Well, you and I were talking astrological signs before we went live, and I'm a Libra with Virgo rising. So like you were saying, the Libra is balance and harmony, trying to make things easy and smooth.
Balanced and organized. You've got a great combination for what you do there.
That organized. Yeah, the Virgo is definitely the organized. How have you been? I mean, I know you were a wonderful viewer and you became a Lovety, a JMS Lovety, just a couple of nights ago when our friend Michael Colby was a special guest for the second time, actually. Matter of fact, there he is. He's watching. He's tuned in. And all the viewers. Keep the comments coming. You have an opportunity to do that in live chat, and we love that. Howdy and welcome to everybody watching around the world. So how have you been since we chatted last? You are in the midst of a lot of wonderful projects, huh?
Well, I am really excited and really grateful with Michael Colby and his lyrics. We met ages ago in the lobby of the Algonquin Hotel, and he has this passion for storytelling, and he's a very quick writer.
Yes.
But what I love about him is his support and how humble he is. And, you know, all of us in this career path, you're on a roller coaster ride. It's feast or famine. It's not for everybody. But for those of us who are, you know, you strengthen your core and you keep going, every now and then you have different times where you just want to throw in the towel. Well, every time that happened, like clockwork, I would get a phone call from Michael Colby, and he would say, there's this event happening. Would you be willing to sing one of my songs? And it would always get me back on track again. I'd be like, oh my God, I need to, be in shape vocally, be in shape physically, do him justice, deliver this. And it would always get me back on track.
Yeah.
And it never failed. It would always happen. So finally I thought, I love his words. And there's so much material that I thought I could actually do my own musical autobiography through his lyrics. And so I went to him and I said, would you mind if I used your songs? And I think he thought I was just going to do a simple review. But every single one of these songs actually outline my life and my life stories. And along the journey, we found out that we had so much in common. Bizarre things, food, storytelling. We both grew up on Long Island. We both went to Northwestern. We both loved to read and write.
Up with Long Island. I'm a Long Island kid too. Yes. Yes. So the question would always be, what exit are you?
Oh my God. So Massapequa is where I grew up.
Is that in the 30s? Exit 30?
27, maybe? I think. 27. Right. Well, no, you're off. South of Sunrise Highway, south of Merrick Road. So
there's something in the water in Massapequa too, because didn't the Baldwins come from Massapequa?
Yes, we went to school together.
With the Baldwins, yeah.
I actually sang one of their sisters' weddings. We were actually quite close. Very athletic families. My father was a wrestling referee. Their dad was a football coach. And so we were constantly, I'm the oldest of 6, 3 boys, 3 girls. We were all jocks. And my mom, who was an amazing, amazing woman, we used to throw all the parties in the backyard. And she had another agenda for this. She would throw the keggers, she would throw the music, and she would collect everybody's keys. And she said, you're not getting them back if I don't think you can drive. So you're either staying on the floor, but it was just so much fun. But we had 4 kids in high school at one time.
Wow.
And so did they. They also had 6 kids. So it was that kind of a thing.
So who mowed the lawn and who shoveled the driveway?
Oh my God. Well,
back when kids used to do those things.
Absolutely. Not to mention riding bicycles with newspaper routes, all this
banana seat bike.
No, that's tough to ride on when you're getting rid of newspapers.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
That's a tough one. So
was it Newsday?
Newsday and the Long Island Press.
Remember the Long Island Press?
Yeah, Newsday.
So how old were you when you had your very first job doing that?
Oh my gosh.
I was 13 or 12 and I delivered the penny saver.
Yes, I remember. So this is like 7th and 8th grade.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right around that
7th
time.
And 8th grade.
Very first, I was in, I think it was in Cub Scouts or what have you then.
Yes.
And then the very first job was, a lot of people would do the newspaper route, but we used to also go, when you could, I don't think people do it anymore, door to door. So for example, if we had a school trip or something that was coming up, we would have to go to door and sell
candy,
rock candy, peanut brittle,
M&M's, peanut brittle. Yeah.
All of that door to door, greeting cards. I remember in the Boy Scouts, it was greeting cards and, people would actually answer the door. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll take 3 boxes of this, that, and the other. It was really, really cool. But if you were a little sly, you knew to give the catalog for whatever it was you had to raise money for to your mom and your dad so they can bring it into work. So you come home when they come home with like 30 orders from their coworkers.
Not just that, but the mom's wrestling committee, the mom's lacrosse team, the mom's volleyball team. And
yes, my mother was a den mother, a Cub Scout den mother for us.
My dad was a Boy Scout leader. In fact, he was an Order of the Arrow. So
I was in Pack 166. We actually used to go out east on the island to go camping and do all, it was very beautiful out east. But neither one of us says Long Island. I don't say that. Do you?
No, but then my mother was South Side Chicago, and I am the only child that was born in Chicago. Everybody else was born in Long Island, and I learned how to speak to her. And her mom was from Ireland, and her dad. Yeah, sure. So their accent is more.
Yes,
a lot softer. It's not
a lot softer, but I would imagine there's probably a few words that you heard. Like for example, for me, my father's father's side English, father's mother's side Ireland, and they settled in New York, in Manhattan, and also in Astoria, which was Irish Italian. And my father still has always said, and I remember this as a kid, film. And I would say, Dad, what? And we talked about it a couple of times with some of our Irish guests who have been on, and I would always hear film, and I would say, well, what you mean film? You mean film?
Right.
Sort of bringing it together. And yeah, film. I was interviewing Ronan Tynan on PBS when the Irish tenors were coming through, and he was talking about paparazzi and picture taking and everything, and he said film. And I'm standing there looking at him. No, I can't acknowledge it because I'm on television interviewing him. The audience would have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm like, wait a minute, where have I heard that before? It's the way probably his grandmother, what have you, said it. And growing up, he heard it that way. And some of those words and some few Gaelic words too.
Aluminium, schedule, all of that. It's
bottle.
Yeah.
So did you pick up any of them? Hearing them?
Well, I lived in London for a while, and which made it easy for me to go back and forth to Ireland. It's very easy to pick it up.
Yes.
And when you're involved in music, you tend to have, I mean, my ear, that's one of the reasons I got started in the opera world. I wanted to learn how to speak other languages and not be this outsider.
Yes.
And it's built in, if you're studying opera, it's immediate French, German, and Italian that you have to be solid in. And then of course there is, church. So there's Latin, you know what I mean? And there's Russian for, or if you're competing in the high school and college, the Nats, there always had to be something that was in another language. So I never wanted to sound like an outsider. And I definitely didn't want to sound like a Long Islander. So I wanted that to be a level speech pattern.
And it's amazing because it changes, the further out east, the less city sounding, I would say, less of that sort of maybe Brooklyn sound or Queens sound. The further out east you get, that sort of just homogenizes or something happens,
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it was largely from learning how to speak to my mom and singing that my accent became much more softer. So
exactly, I think for me too, maybe many years on the air as well, and just never really picked it up. My mother's side from New England, from Connecticut and Massachusetts. My mother's the youngest of 16.
Oh,
and they have their whole other way of saying, uncles that say Hatford and Pacifica and Red Sox and Cape Cod.
Well, in London, we had this saying, you had to learn all the jargon as well.
Yes.
And we used to say, God, it's three nations separated by the same language, whether it was the Brits, the New Zealanders, the Australian, or the Americans.
Yes.
It was like, oh, who knew that one language? When I was living in Switzerland and I was doing Phantom of the Opera there. So late at night, the East Enders would be on after the show.
Yes.
And when I first started listening, I could not understand one word.
No.
And then I went out with a Geordie. That's even faster. You know what I mean? But your ear starts to tune and you start to relax into it.
Yes.
But otherwise, you're constantly saying, excuse me, or sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. So I've got a very urgent question here.
Sure.
New York pizza or deep dish from Chicago? That's got to be a tough, you probably can't even answer that.
Well, let me tell you a fun story. I am a condiment queen. My mom used to say, I can't take you out in public because you'll eat the cheese off of pizza and the icing off of cake. And so when my husband first met me, there was like a bottle of champagne in the refrigerator and a bottle of vodka in the freezer. And then there were 1,001 little bottles, and they were loaded with mustards and marinades and lemon and oils. And he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I dip. I love to try everything. So long way around back to your question is,
yes, but are you a double dipper?
I am no, I'm not a double dipper.
Because I think George Costanza on Seinfeld wouldn't approve of
that.
No,
he wouldn't. Actually, that's so funny. Louis, yeah, that's hilarious. But no, I like the cheese off of pizza in New York. But I got to say, the oven grinder pizzas, their crust can be really, really amazing. But small doses of everything for me goes a long way.
That's it. It's all in moderation, but
yeah,
really, really good. Do you like to cook?
I like to concoct. My husband's actually a much better cook, but I'm great
You
at
like
hors
to
d'oeuvres.
throw things together. Hey, we've got some of this in the refrigerator, this in the cabinet. Let's take something and really dress up that meatloaf. Let's
Oh,
turn into, yeah.
I'm great on the spot, but my mom actually had she had a recipe for all of us. And so she said, if you can make a vegetable lasagna, if you can cook some kind of fish, if you can cook and stuff a turkey, and if you can make a mean Irish soda bread, you can take care of everybody's food likes. And nothing was funnier than when the first time each of us decided to cook and stuff a turkey, it was 60 phone calls in all the time. Are we following the recipe? And of course, in New York, you have these tiny little stoves, which means that you're adding on this extra time to cook them in. But we've
Yes.
all done it. And we've all also incorporated all, my father's favorite side dishes, my mother's favorite side dishes. But
so you're the inspiration for the Butterball hotline.
oh my God.
Your family is what caused them to create the hotline, the emergency hotline for Butterball.
I gave up. I'm much more of a dim sum tapas mesdas girl. I like little bits of everything. So
yes. Are you savory or sweet? I lean savory. Yeah, me too. Yeah. The appetizers, the cheeses. I like the sweet, but if the sweet isn't there, I don't have to. It's okay.
I would much rather have a glass of champagne or a glass of tequila than dessert.
For dessert. So, so you grew up in Chicago, you would say?
Well, I was born there, and then my
then
dad was transferred to Long Island. And so 6 months in, we moved to New York. My mother was one of 9, and she had 8 sisters and a brother, and this did not go very well with her. So every summer we drove back in a Volkswagen bus.
You had
complete with no air conditioning, no, that kind of a thing.
They're coming back with that. Volkswagen has a new version. I think it's electric that's coming out. Are you the inspiration for that too?
Well, no, I that's kind of wild. But what happened is then I ended up going back to school out in Chicago. I went out to Northwestern, and it was great because it let me see all my cousins. I have like 43 first cousins on my mom's side alone.
I know how that is. Yes.
And Northwestern was on a trimester system. So we didn't get long breaks like everybody else. And Thanksgiving weekend was a 4-day weekend. And so I would spend it with my aunts, my godmother, my cousins. I'd come home at Christmas time. And I'd be home in the summer, which is also interesting because we got out of school later than the other schools. So you really had to line up your summer job ahead of time. And I was a swimmer. I swam on AAU teams from the time I was like 8 until 17. So Long Island was perfect because I would lifeguard it. It was awesome.
I'm an ocean person myself.
Absolutely.
We were always in it, near it, by it, swimming, surfing,
absolutely.
sailing.
I
Very grounding.
Salt water and salt air is the antidote to everything for me.
Yes.
So it's great.
Yes. Yeah. So again, raised on the island. So what sort of sparked the interest then in the arts and in performance for you, Maureen?
Well, my mom, for starters, was a phenomenal singer. She could play a mean piano, and she was a kick-ass dancer. And so, and she taught us all, she taught the girls, she taught us all how to lead. She said, boys in junior high and high school don't want to look stupid. So you'll have to learn how to lead now. And later on, you'll have to learn how to follow. But music was always a part of our life, and eclectic as well. I mean, we grew up with Sandler and Young, with Rosemary Clooney, with Nat King Cole. But my dad also knew every single lyric to the Grateful Dead. And
wow.
Brian Setzer and I
went to eclectic,
school. Oh, that's crazy. But Brian Setzer and I went to school together. The Stray Cats were there. Twisted Sister was out in the island. I mean, Jones Beach Theater was a huge draw at the summertime. But I have to say 4th grade on Long Island was when you had an opportunity to learn an instrument. And you could be in the choir, you could be in the band, you could be in the orchestra.
Mine was violin.
Mine was viola.
And flutophones. You don't even hear about that
Yes,
anymore, but
yes, the symphonettes and the
that
flutophones.
plastic flutophone thing,
Yes,
remember those?
I
You never see
do.
them in an orchestra, but but they had them in
6th grade,
school,
yes,
the flutophone.
absolutely, absolutely, that's really cool. Well, I really wanted to take the cello, but I didn't wanna carry it back and forth to school every day, so I took the viola.
You did take the viola,
Yeah,
yes. And how
yeah,
long did you stick with it?
till college. I played all
Oh,
through
you did?
college. It really
Good.
gave me a huge appreciation for harmonies, and
Could you
I
still
hear
do it?
harmonies first. I stopped because I needed to, specify. I needed to it was a lot
Yeah,
of time, and it was
it's an
mandatory.
investment.
Yeah, it's an investment, but in college, you had mandatory ensemble work. So you could be in both the choir and an orchestra or choir and a
Yeah.
band, but it's a lot of time.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But great experience to have, tested the waters there, huh?
Oh my gosh. But we all took instruments.
Yes, it was part of the whole thing.
One of
Yes.
the great things about Long Island was coming back for their Christmas concerts. And
Oh,
all the
yeah.
alumni would either play or sing in the Hallelujah, chorus at the Christmas time. So
I
it was
wonder if
wild.
the schools even do Christmas concerts anymore, if
They
that's
do.
they still doing them.
They still
Oh,
do. Yeah.
good, good, good.
Yeah.
I remember Bank Day was on Wednesday for us when we were in elementary school. Do you remember Bank Day?
I do. And oh my God,
Are you my cousin? Are you
I'm surprised we
cousin,
haven't
my
met
Irish
before
cousin
this.
Maureen? Probably. I bet you got a Kathy in your family too, right? We got Kathys, Catherines,
I have
Kathleen's.
a Kathleen and an Eileen.
You see, yeah.
The
Couple,
Eanes
got to
were
be a Mary or
the Irish. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
that is
Yeah.
funny. Cool stuff. So you were saying some of the things, so the viola, and then from
Yeah.
there, what else triggered your desire to? I mean, obviously, we were very fortunate. Anybody sort of in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area to have, right next door, if they didn't live in it, New York City. I mean, to
Yeah.
have Broadway and all the television stations, the radio stations, all the media, have all of that right there. And to have class trips, if they weren't to Boston or Philadelphia,
Right.
or see the Liberty Bell, or to go
Yeah.
to Lancaster, PA, or
Yeah.
Washington,
The
D.C.
Amish country. Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Amish and all,
Yeah.
they would be to a Broadway play or Radio City Music Hall. I remember seeing Bed Knobs and Broomsticks at Radio
Oh my
City Music
gosh. Yes.
Hall,
Yes. Yeah.
Grease, all these cool things. So, but we didn't think much of it as kids because it was part of
Our backyard.
the vernacular. It was part
Yeah.
of the whole thing. But then you realize how blessed really to have those cultural influences right there within range of us, huh? Did
Yeah.
that influence you along the way growing up?
Actually, I was really rooted in classical growing up. I did not get involved in Broadway until much later, and actually, it was by accident. My I really wanted. I was madly adored Montserrat Caballé and Federica von Stade were two beautiful singers that I just adored. But my side hustles were always hospitality. So I worked in restaurants and catering companies. And I was working for Danny Meyer's Union Square Cafe, the original one down on 16th Street. And I wound up waiting on two gentlemen. And one of them turned out to be Vinnie Liff of Johnson and Liff Casting. And I had no idea who that was, which was actually perfect because I never know when I'm talking to God. I'm just being normal.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
it was so cute because he came in with Ken. They were celebrating an event, and they were teasing one of my servers. And my friend, he came up to me. He goes, "Can you please take over this table? They're making me really, really nervous." And I went over to
Yeah.
both of them, and I said, "Can you two dial it down a little bit?" I said, "I have enough free flowing PMS in this restaurant to deal with." And they start laughing, and they say, "What do you do?" And I said, "I don't answer personal questions. I am here for your dining pleasure, and I'm also promoting varicose veins doing it." And so they said, "No, we want to know something." And I had gotten involved in the psychic arts at that point in time. And I had learned a great deal I can do psychometry. So I said to Ken, I said, "Give me your wallet." He goes, every woman says that. I said, listen, just give me the wallet. And I started to read it. And the irony is that he was from Hong Kong and I had lived in Hong Kong for a period of time. It opened up these wild, crazy conversations. We had a hilarious time. Not once did I ever mention that I was a singer. But when they left, Vinny left his card on the table. And on the back of it, it said, if you are this entertaining on a stage, I can use you. Please call me.
Ooh,
so nice. I turn around to all of my fellow waiters and I'm like, who is Vinny Liff? And they're like, what is wrong with you? He's just, the maestro.
He's the guy.
So
yeah.
He was looking for a cover for Julie Andrews for Victor Victoria at the time. And of course, she was dropping her voice range at the time. She was going through that very challenging time period. And I was a lyric mezzo. So I was a Rossini singer, a high extension, that type of a thing. And I was just starting to entertain other things, but I had yet not developed my lower register. And he said to me, I will arrange a private audition for you with her husband. Can you do a British accent? Will you wear a male suit? Will you come in and sing? I said, sure. Mm-hmm. So I came in and I sang this song and they were absolutely lovely. And after it, he said, you're not right for this, but you're perfect for Phantom of the Opera. And I said to him, no, I'm not. I'm not a Christine. I'm not a Carlotta. And he said, please stop telling me what you can't do. You are perfect for a Madame Giry. You just have to look old enough to have a 15-year-old ballet daughter. And I said, you are really batting 1,000. And he said, he's like, how's your German? And I said, seriously? He said, get down here tomorrow with something in German. And 2 weeks later, I actually had a contract to be a swing and to also cover Madame Giry. And of course, in Switzerland, 5 shows a week were in German and the matinees were in English. But that's what opened the door.
That's what opened
to
the door.
Broadway for me, because for me, it was just music and it opened up different things. And I have so many stories like that. It's just, I don't really know. I mean, even the CD you talk about, the Incantations, I had no idea who Tim Weeder was. I met him at a Body, Mind, Spirit festival. And for those of you listening, if you don't know who he is, he was one of the flautists for Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics. And he switched gear and he did a lot of the angel music for Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. And he is this amazing performer, but his music is stunning. And I walked up to him at the Body, Mind, Spirit Festival and I said, I love your music. I want to sing it. How do we make that happen? And he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
What kind of aggressive American are you?
Born in Chicago, raised on Long Island, New York. Let's keep the traffic moving.
Well, what happened was, this gets even better, is he was in Bath. And he sent me an email, and I was living in Brighton at the time. And he said, would you be willing to work Easter weekend? And I said, sure. And I had sent him music. At that particular point in time, he was in Ireland, and some of the towns in Ireland did not get mail on weekends, and he never got my stuff. But I went down there, and he said, we're recording at David Lord's studio. And I'm like, who was David Lord? And well, he records Van Morrison, he records Gabriel, he records this. And I say to him, and who are they? And he said, you are going to be fun. So that's how that happened. But in a way, it was a blessing because I didn't have the nerves that you normally would have. If you're up against these icons, I just wanted to make really good music and I wanted to be, what they wanted me to be. And I wanted to add to it. So I was kind of like the fool in the tarot deck. It was like, just go for it,
there is that whole other side, the tarot and astrology and all these other incredible things that you're very involved in, which I've always been fascinated by as well. I know we're focusing on the musical side and entertainment side of what you do, but tell us about this other world that you've been immersed in for a long time, which I find quite interesting and fascinating.
Well, I was also fascinated by it. And just like a lot of people, I would always read my horoscopes in the paper and I got a kick out of it. And I took it a little deeper. I was always reading different things, and I just got a kick out of it. And when I was in London, I moved from Switzerland to London because I thought I was going to have a job doing Phantom in London, and it did not work out. But what did happen is I got involved in some of the courses at Neil's Yard. And 3 of the teachers, my feng shui teacher, my 9-star key teacher, my reflexology teacher, are 3 of my dearest friends, 3 women that are amazing. But one of the great things about doing Phantom was we were covered by Swiss National Health. And their insurance covers all the alternative modalities. So things like Reiki, reflexology, cranial sacral work was all covered. And it was just an amazing thing to discover, especially as a singer. When your instrument is your throat and you're with it every day, knowing what you can be in control of is very helpful in terms of sore throats or laryngitis, or how do you stave off this and how do you stave off that? And
that's right.
Many opera singers got certified in Reiki so that they could actually apply that to themselves. These are things that are not going to take the place of surgery, but they're definitely perfect for complementing conventional medicine. And so I did a lot of that. And I ended up doing a lot of readings at the Mystic Maze in Camden Town in UK. And then I did a lot of rose readings here in New York City for the Edgar Cayce community. I worked at these eclectic, eccentric bookstores in Brighton. One of them was called Hocus Pocus. But, being attracted to it, I would end up at a variety of different readers. And I had teachers. And one of my early teachers when I lived in Chicago was Sonia Choquette. And she's pretty amazing. And she was the psychic for Rich Melman's Let Us Entertain You restaurants. And I happened to work at Shaw's Crab House when I was in Chicago. And I met her and I took class with her. And later on, she actually channeled Julia so that Julia Cameron could write her book, The Artist's Way. And the feedback that went on between them also helped Sonia write her Psychic Pathway. And, it's just a thing of interest to me. And I find it fascinating, maybe like you and I were talking about before, because I am a triple air sign, because I'm an Aquarius, Libra rising, Gemini moon. If people are acting out or off or have gone off the deep end, my first reaction is, I wonder where's that coming from? I wonder what happened.
I would imagine you're saying that phrase a lot lately.
Oh, well,
because people are and have been in ways that I could never have scripted or dreamed up. And being a Libra who likes the balance and harmony, when I see some of the nutty, crazy, outlandish, unjust things happen, it irks me. I get a little sort of like, okay, now how are we going to fix this and how are we going to bring it back to equilibrium here? And the Virgo wants the order and things sort of lined up nicely, but the Libra is like, okay,
Libras don't like dissension, and they will do anything to
bring it all together,
including take on the hell. Many times Libras actually take on, or they'll just to actually create peace again. But that brings us back to this. In terms of the spiritual world and the astrological world, we live on the planet Earth, which is known as the planet of free will. So because we all have choice, we can change direction, we can change outcomes. But this is the thing, we all seem to keep learning from one extreme to the other. And that creates the havoc until we come back to center and balance again. And having learned what we learn, get to choose instead of react. And that is the one thing that has upset me so much during this pandemic period, is the amount of reacting. Nobody listens to understand. Everybody keeps listening to respond. And you lose that one thing that this country is so amazing for, the ability to agree to disagree. So.
Right. Yes.
Crazy.
Are we going through something? I mean, I know that I keep saying that with the pandemic and everything else we've been going through, I'm hoping that we come out of all of this more empathetic, kinder, more loving, more centered, really appreciate each other more. I'm not sold in what I'm seeing on the way people are driving on the highways, the way they're acting in the stores, what I'm seeing go on television during live events, award shows, or whatever, just some of the things that we're seeing that we could never have expected. People still seem to be very, ramped up, and they're trying to make up for the lost time of the year and a half, 2 years, and everything is pushing and shoving and rushing and got to have it now. And I only want to hear a viewpoint that reflects what I already think. I don't want to hear anything else. That's a tough place to be. And we're seeing it acting out in national, global events,
right,
or in your own neighborhood. What do you think's happening?
Well, our country in particular is in its teenage phase. We're younger than a lot of the countries. And if you were to parallel that to a child, there's a lot of acting out that goes on in the teenage phase type of a thing. But in terms of astrology, there are so many once in a lifetime events happening. And I guess if you ascribe to the notion that since we all chose to be here at this time, I'm hoping that the payoff must be phenomenal. There's a huge learning curve going on. There's a huge need to listen. And, that's dialing it down to the basic level, actually, because there's so much fire going on. But we just started the astrological new year. We're back to Aries, the beginning of it. So if you didn't get it right New Year's Eve or Chinese New Year, you get another shot at it now. But we're also going into eclipse season, and these things can be actually much sharper and more dynamic. And there's a huge, huge need to go inside for the answers rather than outside, to stay centered and grounded rather than constantly react. Of course, we're all human, and our human nature doesn't always allow us to do that. I have many times when I've had both feet in my mouth unintentionally, and then you're constantly cleaning it up afterwards to make sure you haven't harmed anybody or hurt their feelings or that kind of a thing. We all do that. But sometimes I'm just like, why are we still doing this? Why are wars still being fought? How is this still happening? And why is it always about control and money? Are we ever going to get to the point where it's live and let live? Appreciate the unique Actually, let me read this to you. One of my very favorite quotes is from William Ellery Channing. Each of us is meant to have a character all our own, to be what no other can exactly be, and do what no other can exactly do. And I think if we did that, it might really help everybody realize that everybody matters. Everybody's significant. I don't mean to sound, so simple, but
no, it's true. Hey, no,
everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and it's the fortes that makes the world go around. I have another quote that I love too, and you'll love this.
I just can't believe people are going to think that we had this planned and scripted.
Oh, no.
The fact that you have the quotes like right at your fingertips is quite amazing. This
is a card I used to hand out, but this one I love just because I love Jerry Herman, and it came from Dare World. And this is the saying: nothing is ever so wrong in this world that a sensible woman can't set it right in the course of an afternoon. So I just love the two of those together.
Michael says to God's ears, so true. And Maureen in Arizona seconds that as well. Yeah. So what was the first for you, swinging back a little bit to the musical and the entertainment side? Sure. For you, what was that big break, that big opportunity that really set things in motion for you, Maureen?
Well, it actually was Phantom. That took off, but that again is in the legit category. Do you know what I mean? And so one of the things that I talk about in the show, The Cosmic Connections, is that people like the very sassy, brassy side of me, which is something I developed when I was working in restaurants and hospitality shows, because that was how you saved your butt. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they all wanted me to channel my inner B. Arthur. And when Julie Andrews would come out, the matchup didn't quite work. And it got me started on learning a lot of repertoire. I wanted to learn a lot of different things. Hopefully some of these I can't outgrow anytime Yes. So it's just, but there
God's
are,
gonna get you for that, Walter.
oh my gosh, it's just kind of crazy. But that was the thing. And that led me down the path. I mean, I never thought that I'd be doing this. I, at 17, thought I was going to be an opera singer for the rest of my life. And I had many amazing experiences that way. And, won scholarships to go to school. Actually, the Pavarotti and the Renata Tebaldi thing, let me bring it back to that. So Philadelphia is when I really met Pavarotti during that time period. And this was, again, a random conversation. And we were backstage waiting for something. I don't know why he was, we were some like moment. It wasn't surrounded by a lot of people. And I said to him, how does this work? Because he didn't read music. He memorized it and he learned it. And he had, learned to sing with his dad. And he said, listen, he said, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is not to stand and sing at people. The goal is to be the best storyteller that you can be. And when you're passionately involved in it, you won't forget your words.
Mm-hmm.
And that was amazing for me.
That's huge.
And so then when Elizabeth Fisher Monastero was my phenomenal teacher at Northwestern, and her family had promoted the Bel Canto Foundation, and there was huge contests around the states, and a select amount of people would win, and it was to go to Italy and study with Renata Tebaldi and Carlo Bergonzi. And Renata was amazing. And at this point in time, because I had an extended upper range, people just assumed I was a soprano, but truly I was a lyric mezzo. And she said, you're going to have a hard time. And I was 24 at the time. Nobody wants to hear this at 24. And she said, you want to act, and they don't want you to act. So she taught me the entire role of Adriana Lecouvreur. And she said, this is for a woman who's in her 40s and up. It's not for a folk. It's not for a type. You obviously need to sing it, but it's about somebody who has been seasoned by life. And that is what's going to be your calling card. She said, and this beautiful aria from that, Io sono l'umile ancella, I am the accent of the words on the words. She said, you can sing that at any time, but you can't pull out that role until you're 40. And she kind of took me under her wing. She had the most amazing green eyes. It was just amazing. But she was really, really lovely. And all along the way, I've had teachers like this. Diane Furlano was one of my teachers in Chicago. And she said, you can sing soprano, but you're not really one. Your break is different. And she was a phenomenal pianist as well as singer. And she said, I'm going to put it to you like this. Think about it as switching from the cello to the viola. If you will learn the lyric mezzo rep, you will be able to act, because there's a lot of pants rolls. Mm-hmm. She goes, you will not harm your voice. The fluidity of all the Rossini will keep it supple and ageless. And at 40, if you think you want to go back to it, you haven't lost any time, but you will have learned this. And she set me on that path. Growing up during this time period, all this did was make me feel like I never fit in. I was either ahead or behind. I was covering roles, that it was crazy. One of the big things that I loved is I was a cover for Pippo in La Gazza Ladra with the Philadelphia Opera that Menotti was actually directing. But it also introduced me to James Galway and his wife Jeannie, because they were doing the birds.
They're wonderful. They were guests on the show. Yeah,
so lovely. So I've had a lot of events that have prepared me maybe more for life rather than for the quote unquote successful career. And this is one of the things about singing. Unless you're an ingenue, there's no age restriction there. You can continue to explore either the Great American Songbook or, the various other languages, whether it's salsa, merengue, the different countries, the different things. But I'm really interested in telling stories. And I seem to be called upon a lot to uplift people and inspire. I have phone calls come in all, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? That type of a thing.
Yeah.
And it really broadens your empathy. Of course, you also have to learn about boundaries with that as well.
There's a one day I'll tell you at a good New York diner, the whole story of where I was on a TV shoot. the audience has heard this several times. And after the shoot, I had some extra time with the rental car. The crew left. This was back in maybe about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3, before the pandemic. We were in Las Vegas, but we were in a town in the desert, Pahrump, Nevada, just about an hour west. And I took the car when everybody left. Nobody knew where I was doing it. I didn't even know I was going to do it. And I drove alone through Death Valley.
Oh, Lord.
That really created some extraordinary, it couldn't be a big city with the activity. It couldn't be a beautiful lush forest. And it could have been the Zen place, the ocean. It had to be stripped earth. And what I experienced was life-changing, breathtaking on many levels. And one of those things was that you have to set boundaries. Libras don't set boundaries usually. They're always, you go home, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. I got it. And then there's times where you're like,
wow.
Can't. It was really, Death Valley was something.
Wow. That's also a life lesson. You know, we keep evolving.
Yes.
It's, and you kind of have to. Nobody grows in the same direction at the same rate at the same time all the time.
No,
and that
no.
holds true for siblings, partners, spouses,
Yes.
working colleagues. So you kind of have to learn how to be fluid and flexible. Some days we get it better than others, but sometimes when it works, it's just joy. It's fun, it's fulfilling, and it's successful. But it's the times that are really raw and off and out of balance that teach you where to get there. And
so when you have those days where you're raw and off and out of balance, what do you do to sort of find your zen? Is music healing for you?
Music is one of the most healing modalities for me. It's my favorite, and I can get lost in it. I can be on the floor listening to a CD or a record or a tape or whatever, and I can, 10 hours later after I've gone through an entire canon, it's huge. But I also have things that I pull out that I remember. I have one of my cousins has a little granddaughter, and I try to remember things that the trick is to find something to flip. So I was out there for my 90th. One of my dad, his sister just celebrated her 90th. It was a surprise 90th birthday party, and one of her daughters has a 2-year-old as a granddaughter, and I had stayed overnight. It's out in St. Mauritius. It's out, I wasn't going to drive back, that type of a thing.
East on the island.
Yeah, east on the island. Well, this little 2-year-old, there's animals everywhere where they, so she's gotten used to, feeding the fish in the fish bowl and blah, 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 blah. She fixated on 2 ants on the floor.
Wow.
And she decided that she needed to feed them. So she went to her little kitchen, setup that 2-year-olds have, got her little saucepan, which had popcorn in it. And she put little popcorn on the floor for the ants to eat. I almost wet my pants. I could not stop laughing. There are little things that you keep in your mind to go, oh, and that brings me about 3 to 5-year-olds. You wanted me to talk about that.
I was going to say that you all got in the car and went to White Castle.
Oh, no, that was Chicago. Yeah. No. But I had to teach theater school. It was in West Hampton, very wealthy area in London. And a friend of mine had asked me if I would do that. And in London, you must have certificates to teach. And I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to her, look, I'm off the walls and I would love to do this. Why don't I come and observe 1 week, one Saturday? The next week, I will come and teach. If you think it's a fit, great. I don't want to lose a friendship over it. And thank God it was at Christmas time, because it was from 10 to 5. The kids all had 1 hour of acting, 1 hour of singing, 1 hour of dancing. And I, of course, got the 3 to 5-year-olds or the 3 to 6-year-olds at the end of the day when their concentration span was completely shot. So, and not to mention, I'm an American, right? So within 5 minutes, they're off. And my one requirement that I said to my friend was, the parents cannot be at this first class. Because I had learned that I taught physically and mentally challenged kids how to swim.
Yes.
You got to keep the parents out.
Keep the parents out.
So she said, okay. So the kids, and finally I clapped my hands. That didn't work. I blew a gym whistle. That stopped them. And this is a classroom with desks. And I was like, that's it. Everybody on a desk. And they're like, we're not allowed to stand on a desk. And I'm like, you're not allowed to fall up. And I made them get up and I made them march. and I taught them all Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And they could not believe that this was a Christmas song in the States. But after that, I had no problems with that age group. And my friend said to me, I don't care what you do, you are hired. And she goes, if you can keep them busy for an hour, you are worth your weight in gold. And that's hilarious. You know,
what a song too, to make such a huge difference, huh? Is that amazing? So when you hear that on the radio, does that come back for you, that moment?
It does. And this is the thing, when you're dealing with children of that age, you can only be in the present moment. You can be exhausted, but the exhaustion comes from the present moment. It's not from worrying about the past or the future. And that makes such a huge, huge difference. So I not only took them through that, I took them through Percy the Puny Poinsettia and all these random, bizarre songs. And they were just like, we can't wait till she comes. And to top it off, I mean, I did take them through the cycles, and I closed with New Age music. And instead of reading tarot cards to them, I had angel cards, because tarot can be pretty intense for little ones. Mm-hmm. But first I said to them, you can never tell your parents about this, because they will never let me come back here.
Right. This is our little secret.
So I did that. I taught them their sun signs. I taught them what it meant. I had little audition classes for them. Instead of coming in and saying, like, my name is Maureen, I'm going to sing this, they would say, you know, my name is Mary, I'm 2 years old, my birthday is this date, blah, 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 blah. I have brothers and sisters. And then I would get involved in freeze tag with them. And when I had them freeze, I would say to all of the rest of them, what is she doing? What is he doing? And if the hand was fidgeting, hands go in the pocket or they go back. And they're like, how come? And I'm like, well, when I'm nervous, my ankles shake. So when I'm really nervous and I'm going to a really important audition, I wear boots so they can't see my ankles shake. And so it was just little things like that. And they were just great. So it was a really big learning lesson for me about staying in the present moment, because their attention span is minimal.
Incredible.
They don't forget anything, but the attention span is minimal.
Exactly right. You're so true. It's so true that they don't forget anything, but the span is very short. We have something very special here we're going to pull up, and it is sort of your sizzle reel going over your career. And we have great music for you tonight, gang. Lots of music and photos and good stuff and some cool things. You know what we'll do? We'll show this to everybody, and then we'll come back and we can chat about it. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Here's a little bit of the career of Maureen Taylor. Again, this is just a little snippet, 3 minutes of an extensive career. But enjoy, folks. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Taylor.
There's a diva at the Met who may be crass and slutty, yet sounds like an angel when she sings. How do you make magic? Surely you know what to do, for I feel a kind of magic. I like stories. I like telling stories. I reveal a husband's cheating games, tell a wife she's older than she claims. I guess that's why people call me names. There's more to us than meets the eye, to be uncovered if you try. Within the clue you magnify, you never know what you may spy. I have 8 pillows in my bedroom. Do you? I woke up at sunup and beamed like the sun. I wanted to run up and kiss everyone. The world looks so appetizing. Who knew I'd be toast after rising? Well, when I was 20, I actually went to see a psychic. And she said to me, honey, your life's really not going to start until you're in your 40s. Today was a chain of bad choices. Unless you take chances, how can you succeed? Hey, it could be. I was the Valentine sent to my folks, delivered from you know above. I'm a woman no one can put down. I am dressed to the nines, all set to go. My light outshines the lunar glow. I'm an Aquarius. I was invited to go to Hong Kong and Bangkok to be a beard. I'll let that just sink in. And I went, but that's another show. If you just pay mind, never losing sight, somehow you can find the one who's right. Then you find forever. If this is your path of service, celebrate it. Spirit will always find the right platform for you to use your gift and be fulfilled. Once I've been on, once I have found, I know where I belong. Rejoicing through my song, friends, I'm here to share. I'm here to sing my song.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Taylor.
Really, really nice. That's fantastic.
Those are all Michael Colby's lyrics.
All of them.
And they really tell a story. And two of my friends, Matt Castle and Frank Galgano, have just started a record label. And it is called Brainstorm Records. And this is the CD release. It was just this work of joy. It was joyful. It was fulfilling. It's satisfying. He writes so many wonderful things. So this is the CD debut of my solo album. Michael has so much material that we're going to do a follow-up in the fall. But Matt and Frank, this was a happy hour conversation.
Oh, sure.
They had never had this before. They've done a bulk of work in terms of putting on music for other people, collaborating, nurturing other talent. And they were like, well, why don't we start a record label? And I said, well, why don't you make ours the first one on it? So they've been getting it together. It's a work in progress, but it has dropped on every streaming platform. I know you can definitely find it on Spotify and on Apple and Amazon, but we are going to be doing this, and I have the cover of it right here, and we're going to be doing it on Saturday, April 23rd at 4 p.m. in New York City at Don't Tell Mamas. And because of the pandemic and the fact that we've all been through hell and back again, there is no cover. You are still required to do the 2-drink minimum. It doesn't have to be alcohol, but there is no cover. We just want everybody there to actually really celebrate this. And there will be physical CDs available for sale and also the download cards as well. I probably will never get rid of my CD or my record player or my cassette players.
I still have all of those too. Absolutely. We have them all.
I gotta say, Michael's lyrics and the vast assortment of composers that he has worked with has made this so special. There's like 10 different composers on this, and it's stunning. And they get honored in a very special way in the show on the backdrop. But I can't say enough about Michael and for how he's actually helped to keep me on my own path of service, which keeps evolving. And I have no idea where it's going, but as long as I can use musical storytelling to uplift and inspire, I'm
That's game. What it's all about. Well, you've obviously found your place in the world, and we have evidence of that with the next song.
Oh,
My Place in the World.
Right, the Bob Merrill Show. Yes,
that's it. Here it is, and we'll chat about it when we come back. Enjoy, everybody.
I had a whole new perspective on life. Accessories. I met a lighting designer. They are the best friends to have. He taught me all about fantasy, theater, and the world of make-believe. This is magic, this is wonder. If you order thunder, he makes thunder ring. Thank you. Thank you. Wind a handle, pull a lever, they even give you cues. He can light the moon or make the sun rising. If you want a golden life, or if you wish a pink and rosy dawn, all you have to do is wind it up and turn it on. And this is my place in the world. It would be his face I see if I could see just one face in the world. With all of the things I've missed in this world, do you know the thrill it can be to wake up and see the whole universe revolve around me? I just can't believe my place in the world. And yet these things happen. These stories come true. You know that they happen, but how often to you? He came like a god whirling in. He gave me the sky. I know that I'm here, but I still don't know why. I just can't believe my place in this world.
Very nice. Very nice. When you watch that, what happens to you right now?
My heart just rolls because there's a whole story behind that. But one is Matt Castle is playing that piano, and he is part of the duo that is producing the record. The other thing is Peter Napolitano had pitched this to me, and it was an amazing connection. And then my dear, dear friend, Joe Reagan, who had actually worked on the entire production of all of the Julie Stein crew, of Funny Girl. He gave me hours and hours and hours of interviews, of music, of video. And I was able to actually really invest a lot of time, not just in the big songs that Bob Merrill is known for, but a lot of the lesser known works so that people would know more. You know what I mean? Outside of Love Makes the World Go Round or Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol or Mambo Italiano, that type of a thing. To me, it was honing real people, the vulnerability that's involved where you get to tell these stories and share them. It brings everybody in. And I think that was one of the things that I'd learned from my various acting teachers. And it was not to go to the audience, but to bring the audience to you at the level that you are at your most authentic and vulnerable. So on the days when that happens, it's just sheer joy. And I have to say that song is really, it hits me a lot because I still don't know what my path of service is. I just know that it's got to be music and people. So,
you're living it. You're living your bliss. What it is it's on automatic pilot. You are not necessarily having to track it or check the boxes or the bucket lists. You're just doing it. And that search for trying to figure out what it is passion and thirst and enthusiasm for life. So in a way, maybe you're not supposed to know exactly. You're just here to do it. And the answers to these questions of, well, what am I here for? What is this? Is what you're seeing in the reaction to everybody, from everybody, your inspiration, the empowerment through what you do and you love so much. That's where the answer is.
And that's huge. My mom passed when she was 65 back in 1998. And she had been a nun for 6 years, Southside Chicago, Irish Catholic. She was in the convent from 17 to 24. She pretty much was Maria von Trapp part 2.
Wow.
She broke all the rules. It was not, I mean, she taught school, she did everything, but she got out of the convent. She met my dad. She had the 6 of us. She had this amazing life. And we lost her very early. And the first job that I got cast in after she passed was as the Mother Abbess in The Sound of Music. And I cannot tell you what went on that stage. It was completely cathartic. It was like it was being channeled. But I had teachers, nuns, kids writing me, telling me about this type of a thing. And that's the connection from music, where you can share and it makes somebody else feel better or feel accepted or be at peace or feel healed. So I guess that's where I try to live from when I'm singing.
Yes, absolutely. You don't see it as just a task or just for the entertainment value. It's something deep within. There's a message, there's a feeling that you like to leave them with. And I'm exactly the same way with everything that I do in my television, radio work and everything else. It's got to be, I got to have a way where I plug in, where I connect, where it's communal, and where I leave the room better than I found it. So I find some way to leave the room better than I found it, because that just makes me feel great. It's just something that I have to do. I'm on autopilot as well. I have to find ways to bring it together, smooth it out, inspire, entertain, and just maybe lighten the load for everybody else as well in whatever we do. And it's a beautiful thing because, these are very task-oriented careers. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of work. It always looks a lot easier than it really is. There's a lot of stuff that goes in, a lot of years and education and expertise and fine-tuning and all these things. Mm-hmm. But then when you come out there and you do your thing and you make it look so easy, where everybody says, oh, I can do that too. It's incredible. It really is. And to be able to touch lives through the arts, through what we do, through communication, we're blessed.
Well, it's clear that you do that, because I think you make everybody think that being a television persona and interviewing is easy because it's so natural for you. You've got that down in spades.
And as my father has always said, the English-Irish dad, whenever anybody says something nice to you, please ask them to put it in writing and address it management.
I can do that. No.
Put it in writing and address it management. Wherever the management is, just address it management. We have more music, which is really, really wonderful as we're weaving in and out of the story of your life. I didn't mention to you that I'm also Ralph Edwards, and this is your life. And this is an April Fool's joke, folks. We are actually really here. You are watching us.
Wow.
But if you're watching this in the archive 6 months from now, well, that's all past tense. I Just Know, this song, I Just Know. I was enjoying it when we were putting the production together today. Yes. Just before the power and Wi-Fi went out, we had this on. and what I happened to say was, I just know the power will restore just before we go live. And it did. Tell us about this song.
I fell in love with this when I first heard it. This is something that Michael wrote with his rabbi. And it was the one song that my memory kept going up on lyrics. And what I realized is that my mom was with me during this song, and I could always hear her. She'd be like, look over there. Somebody needs to hear that line. Look over there. Look over here. And I'm like, wait, can I please sing this song? It's fine now, but when it first happened, it was almost like she wanted to make sure that this message got across. And so I finally surrendered to the fact that I needed to hold the words for this final song. But I just love the fact that Michael actually wrote this with his rabbi. It's so powerful. And if it made you feel that way, I'm so glad, because that's exactly what it did for me.
I tell you, really, really beautiful song. And we're going to share it with everybody right now. We hope you're enjoying. This is the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We're bringing back the lost art of conversation, sort of Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, Regis Philbin, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas style, with a modern vibe and a modern twist of today. And you can participate, comment. You guys have been commenting up a storm live. Feel free to do that. Also, if you'd like to do that, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That's the channel you're watching right now. And if you're enjoying this episode, give it a thumbs up. There's a little icon there. It looks like a thumb. A little thumbs up icon on the YouTube channel. We'd love that. And leave a comment on the channel as well. Because I just know once you watch one episode of our series, you'll be back. And here is I Just Know.
When people ask, is there a God? What is the proof? The lightning rod. What lets me see that he or she gave us this world I love so? I just know the wonder of a baby's face, the grand design of time and space, as nature shines and sends us signs. God's there to guide as we go. I just know. In times of pain and plight, there comes a light that sees us through. And though not in plain sight, it burns bright in all we do. The feeling's there within my heart. I need no proof, in full part. When I see spring, hear voices sing, watch gardens bloom and grow, I just know. Without an angel's call, words on a wall, or parting sea, through blessings large and small, God is always real to me. When cynics say the Bible shares no truth or lessons worth our prayers, and God's a myth, I answer with what I can show. How every day proves in some way a higher force must be the source through wondrous things high and low. I just
That is absolutely incredible, moving and breathtaking and beautifully belted out by you. That's a gorgeous song. That really is. And it's touching so many of our viewers. Jane in Sweden says, great song. She's loving it. Christopher Joseph is here. Good to see you, Christopher. One of our longtime lovedies, has been with the show for just about coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Great lyrics. And I Just Know. And Maureen in Arizona, I just love that. You are magnificent, Maureen. By the way, I'm just curious. Does anyone call you Mo?
A lot of people.
Well, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Mary Bishop says, so beautiful. She's watching down in Pine Island, Florida. Merlin's watching in Ontario, Canada. Powerful words. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Maureen. And Michael, of course, who penned that.
Absolutely.
It's really a terrific song. And you just captured the essence of what Michael was thinking as he penned it. That's really, really fantastic. We've got another one here. It's not showing all the words, but maybe you can finish it off. It says, when you meet.
Oh, when you meet a man in Chicago. That's it.
I like that little heads, swerve when you said that.
I met a lot. There's a story in that one. It's fun. Yeah.
There might be 2 stories in that one. We'll find out after this. Here it is, gang. Enjoy.
Let's start the journey. You meet a man in gay Paris. The chances are he's gonna be a maitre d' or merchant of fine wine. You meet a man in London town, and no, he pulls his money down by huddling with bankers or owning oil tankers. But when you meet a man in Chicago, you never know what business he's in. Though he might be, my dear, some high financier, may I volunteer? It's 10 to 1 he isn't. There are certain men in Chicago who never tell what business they're in. But if his pearl gray spats match his tie and hat, you'll know where it's at. But if there's money in his pocket, I'll never be the one to knock it. If the night seems right and the deal's airtight, I'll just leave that to you. If some real nice gent will spring for my rent, I'll just leave that to you. I know all about Chicago. I was born there. And my family had connections. All those Italian wedding receptions, way too much taffeta. And speaking of taffeta, this is my mom's dress. And she made it. But it would be nothing without Shaney's crinoline underneath it. Back to that wedding reception, this was a perfect magnet for way too much vino and always some cheeky little old man who all he wanted to do was pinch my butt all night long. Always the same. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, go, go. You mixed up Siciliano, oh you Calabrese, do the mambo like a crazy, and a hey, no more the tarantella, hey, no more the mozzarella, hey, mambo, mambo Italiano, hello quesadiche, you got happy in your feet, said, hey, Oomba, I know you love to dance the rumba, but take us some advice, paisano, learn how to mambo. Where you ain't gonna go nowhere, so hey, mambo, hey, go, go, hey, mambo, shake like a Giovanni. Oh my, you're cute. Do you dance? Can you lead? 'Cause I am so done with teaching. Chadru, you don't know how to go to school, but make it with the deep bambino, like a vino. Get you good looking, but you ain't know what's cooking. So hey, mambo, hey, mambo, mambo, mambo Italiano. It's so delicious. Everybody can fish it when you mambo Italiano. Ciao.
You were having fun that time. That was
Italians
fantastic.
and Irish are big combinations in our family.
Yes.
And there
So
you
you
have,
fight over pasta or mashed potatoes, huh?
or
What to
more.
serve? Yeah, or more.
or more. But there are quite a few different legacies in our family. So both sides, cops on one side, mafia on the other side, insanity. But it's makes for a
And then
great
your mother,
family.
the nun.
My mom, yes. My mom, she used to refer to us. She was an O'Donoghue. And my dad was English with Russian, Austrian, Polish, Ukrainian background. So she used to tell us that we were mutt breeds and she was the thoroughbred. That was
Yeah.
But history has always been very important in our family. And my dad's sister was really wonderful at exploring all of that side. And my mom had all of her stuff. And the first time I got to go to Ireland, it was everything she had ever told me about. And you can't help but love the people. I mean, this sense of the zest for life is huge.
Yes, it is.
And the zest for life with Italians is huge.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, it's always there. And that's why that song was just so funny. You know, not to mention that that was my mother's engagement dress, and she was quite a seamstress, and she did make it. But Bob Merrill had also wrote Holly Golightly. We did the whole Breakfast at Tiffany's deal. So we made the journey of Holly Golightly going on the journey through the songs. And that was the perfect dress because she made it in the 1950s. So it was perfect.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I tell you, perfect moments, perfect dresses. And we showed this earlier.
Yeah.
What was happening then? There is Luciano Pavarotti, of
well,
course.
we had just had that conversation about storytelling. Now, this is the fun thing for all the ladies in the audience, is that I'm debuting my pandemic hair color. I stopped coloring it when the pandemic round. It was always much darker. I always had this, you know, we used to call it the mist of Atlantic Street down the center. And so I finally colored it because a lot of the reps for the different agencies would send me out on these commercials and different things based on an age range. And I was like, listen, I have nothing against the Silver Swan community, but I don't look like them. Please stop sending me out for that. So I finally colored my hair. And then once the pandemic hit, I thought, let's just see what it looks like. If it looks okay, I'll keep it. If not, I can color it again. But that's why, I mean, that obviously was a wig when I was with him. But you know, my hair has always been different, darker shades. Yeah. He was amazing. I had some really great conversations, and I was lucky enough to get him on a one-on-one because I was fascinated that he memorized all of these operas. It just kind of blew my mind, you know, where Domingo, that was always considered the consummate musician, playing the piano, being the conductor, being this. I just love the fact that he was so much of the people and memorized so much. And, you know, there is a place for everybody. And everybody does have something that they can do better than anybody else. But he sparked it. He was like, Maureen, if you storytell, not only will it always be authentic, but you will memorize. You will memorize because telling the story to make somebody else feel good will ingrain it. And that was early on. I never knew that was going to be that important to me.
That's incredible. Here's another great photo. Look at this.
Yes. So that's the Bob Merrill show. And so the lovely gentleman with the silver beard is Joe Reagan. And he is the one who had worked, you know, for the Julie Stein community, had done all that work with the whole Funny Girl was the huge thing. The stories he told me. Joe Brent was the brilliant violinist and mandolin player. And Matt Castle, of course, was the exquisite pianist. And God, can he sing as well. Glorious, glorious chords. So it was a really, really fun show. And I am grateful that Peter Napolitano had pitched it to me. So it was a really wonderful thing. This was fun. Covers in Europe. You are told you're going to go on, but you never know when. And I was a swing for most of the time, but I knew that I was going to go on at some time, and it does keep you on your toes. And I was on my purple bike, and I went to Berlitz classes Monday through Friday because I did not want to sound like an Auslander, and a lot of Madame Giry is spoken.
Yes.
So the slot that I got to go on for was what we called the Friday Five. So Friday night was in German, Saturday matinee was in English, Saturday night was in German, Sunday matinee was in English. Talking about making sure that you had memorized it and got it down. It was something else. But it was a fabulous experience, and it was a wonderful role, and it was an amazing cast. It was a really great chapter in my life, and
Incredible.
it all came out of waiting on Vinnie Lift at Union Square Cafe. This is Carlo Bergonzi. So beautiful, beautiful gold throat tenor, stunning. And he and Renata ran this masterclass that, this whole session that we all got to go to Italy for in Busseto, which is the home of Verdi and the Verdi Teatro. And for me, it was a blast. It was my first time there. It was during Carnevale. And at this particular time, it had snowed. I don't think they had seen a lot of it because the people were actually pushing, instead of shovels, they used brooms to push the snow across the piazza. And they were still riding bikes in the snow, which prepared me for Switzerland because I lived on a bike. You kind of had to, because the tram stopped running at a certain time. And if you came out of the theater and you wanted to go for a drink, you needed to be able to get home. So all of us, had bikes, and you have to, they're very strict on their rules. You have to register it. It has to have its lights. They have their own lanes. You can get fines if you're not following them. It was wild, but it was a great memory too. And it kept me in very good shape. So
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah,
that was in the Teatro, and that was just stunning. It was really amazing. Italians are just, they all know the words. They'll correct you if you're wrong. They'll help you out in pronunciation. It was really a beautiful time period. That was during that time period. Yeah.
Very nice.
And there is Renata. Yeah. Stunning. I just thought she was magnificent. She had a little poodle, new. I think there were several of them that used to come and sit with us at dinner time, but she fascinated us, and she did tell us quite a few stories about the claques between Maria Callas and herself, that type of a thing. Dinner time was something we always looked forward to if she was there, because you could always get her to tell the stories. And she was just this lovely, she was a force of nature, but around us, she was this wonderful, nurturing teacher. And it was really great.
That's fantastic. Here's another one.
So the one role that I really ever wanted to do was Carmen. And you could do it, and I could do it in a smaller, in like the German houses, because I have a different style and a different type of voice. But I had a girlfriend in London who was an amazing painter, Karen Urban. And so she has shown in many of the museums. And she said, well, I'll paint you as Carmen. And it did hang in a museum for a while. So I've never forgotten that, which is great. And of course, since I never fit into the rules, and this is a character who broke all the rules, because she never existed. She truly lived. And that's what really fascinated me about that character.
And Cosmic Connections, too, this whole thing with Michael, which we touched upon when Michael was a guest on the show, is really something between you and him, right? Do you want to refresh the memory for folks who are with us for that episode, or for folks who are watching right now for the first time, what that all is about? It's really something.
Cosmic Connections, it's kind of a musical autobiography of my life, told through all of his lyrics. But along the way are all the things that we share in terms of Cosmic Connections on about growing up in Long Island, about going to Northwestern, about loving reading and writing, about storytelling, about certain foods, and about finding the one. And both of us had late bloomer relationships. We both found our partners later in life, and the stories of how that happened are in this, and it's very funny. The different shows that we connected on, the running joke through the show is he didn't write it and I wasn't in it, but, and that's how we kind of linked all the stories together. And they're amazing. One particular story, I'm going to reach over here. One of his shows, Charlotte Sweet, which he wrote with Gerald J. Marco, which actually was nominated for 3 Drama Desk Awards, was really powerful. Now, this is the fun connection. I never got to meet Gerald J. He had passed on, but he was had a huge fascination in astrology. And I have had a tape for years, long before I met Michael Colby, that he wrote music from the Palladium. This is the cassette tape. I had no idea he was the one and the same that had actually, wrote so much with Michael. And these are the kind of things that we found out, during the show. And so, I talk about in the show about the search for the right one and how all these crazy stories lead up to when you finally do meet the right person, you have a significant other to go through holidays with. And then I do a little bit of holidays that Michael wrote. And we have similar recollections of what are poignant memories for us and how it just wove a path and it magically came together. It was pretty amazing. So basically I wrote a story and then just pulled from his huge canon of music, of lyrics that would work. And my process for doing this is to get a little bulletin board, pull out, and on index cards, write the titles of the songs that I like. And then I create a story with push pins through the titles of the songs. And many times there's 3 songs that say the same thing. So you're looking for the one that fits the best. You're looking for variety to keep people up. It can't be all slit your wrist ballads. There has to be a lot of fun stuff. But that's how I try to find the shape of the story. And if I'm having trouble, Michael will say, well, I can pen one for you, or I can write this for you, or maybe we can create a different version of this. It's really kind of magical. It's a real tapestry of really magic words coming together.
Why do you love doing what you do so much? Why you're so passionate about it? What are some of those blessings and joys in your life that continue to inspire and propel you forward, Maureen?
Well, sharing a Libra part of a personality with you, I've also developed quite the worry muscle. And having been the oldest of 6, I never really was a kid. I was kind of put into mom too early. You know what I mean?
Soul.
Yeah. And as the oldest, I was expected to set an example, not act out, not scream, rant, and rave, that type of a thing. And so when I'm researching a show like this, the gold is living in the present moment and sharing it. I can't be worrying about what's not working. I can't be agonizing about what I'm going to get wrong if it's not perfect. When I'm actually focusing on this, then I'm in the present. And when I stay there, I stop worrying about being perfect, because coming out of the classical world, originally opera singing was about being perfect.
Sure.
You did not backphrase. You did not change words. You did not change notes on the page like you can do in contemporary music or cabaret. So coming out of that world was about stripping away the layers of the onion. It was like, how can I sing a song and have it not, when you're listening in your head, you're micromanaging everything instead of being in the moment.
So that training too of striving for that excellence and the perfection and all of that and the polish.
Absolutely.
And then to have to strip that is
Tough.
I was at a casting. I've done a lot of voiceover work too, narration, but this particular casting director was sort of relatively new at it. So he handed the script to me, and he said, the first thing he said to me when I started reading the script, as I would interpret this important script, He goes, lose the polish.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you talking about? Do you understand that that's what you aimed for, is excellence, and to dust it off and polish it up and do your best and bring the best, and with, it's an interesting thing because the world has changed in so many different ways too, where it's just anything goes, that you can say anything, you can do anything. You don't have to, nobody dresses up anymore. I mean, it's just, it's all whatever. It's just like whatever is whatever is whatever. And it was kind of nice when we daydreamed and fantasized and we, sort of created some things to like aspire to, or just created these atmospheres in film and television and music and in certain different areas. Not that it's idealistic or Pollyanna, but there's nothing wrong with a little idealistic and Pollyanna. I think sometimes we have stripped all of it to where everything now is just completely raw, real, in your face, nothing else acceptable. If it isn't raw and isn't real and in your face, not interested, passe, sorry, oh, that's old fashioned. That's who wants that anymore. And it's got to be quick. You don't have time to savor it. You don't have time to think about it. If you've done something that you're proud of, you don't even have time to sit and, savor that win. You got to be off to the next thing. All of these things have really come into play in our society, in our culture, in a way that, has caused the evaporation of a lot of things that we really need. And I think the last 2 years have reminded some that those things are important. They're simple. They're important. They are deep and heart-centric. And I think there's been a real craving for some of that in our lives. You feel the same, Maureen?
It goes back to me talking about how we swing from one extreme to the other before we come back to balance. But we also all go down the rabbit hole at different times. And I know for me, the two things that I made myself do during this chapter was honor the pandemic Facebook birthdays and try to post something positive and inspirational daily. It didn't always mean that I lived it that way, but one of the things is checking in on your friends. People can overshare, people can go through all kinds of shades of drama and depression type of a thing, but you really have to surround yourself with positive people after a while to hold on to the balance. And it was really interesting when you said that. When I had first moved to London, a lot of the Brits thought about American actors right down to their headshots as being slick and polished. And they didn't want that then. They wanted authentic. And I'll never forget, I had a girlfriend there. This is VO work too. She made a fortune on 2 words, Tia Maria. And it was, my mom used to tell us all, you can say anything, but how you say it is everything. And that accompanied with the written word, which drives me up the wall, because the entire world is dealing with texts and emails. It is so easy to misinterpret those.
Yes.
And I know that I've gone, I've gone, my nieces, little kids, that kind of a thing. And I'm like, a 5-minute conversation would cover these 20 lines of text. Can we just have it? Because then if you hear my voice, you'll know the tone, you'll know what I'm expressing. You won't take it the wrong way. It won't be misconstrued. And there is a place, there's a time and place for everything. And I think we're all struggling with finding the balance on every level, on almost every level, whether it's emotional, spiritual, physical. And we all go through change differently. Sometimes it's incredibly challenging and uncomfortable, and sometimes it's something to get revved up about and excited about. But we're still, until we can read each other's minds, really read each other's minds, we are still left with words. Mm-hmm. Sometimes words that's restricting, and other times it's this plethora of creating imagination. So I can't emphasize enough the value of them.
And levity too. Levity. You've got to laugh. You've got to
Yes,
laugh at yourself. You have
transforms
to
everything.
laugh. Yes, as our friend Mr. George Burns knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Levity is important, and he was great with words too.
Absolutely. Yes.
He's here to greet you and say that you knocked it out of the park tonight. He loved it, every second of it. And he sends you love, and he sends you his best, as he's got a cigar there and his red hanky and looking good, all spiffy, Mr. Burns here.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I just thank you so much for having me. It's been a real joy.
Tell us exciting things coming up aside from Cosmic Connections, of course. Other things that you have coming up as well individually?
Well, outside of auditioning, outside of trying for new things, we're looking to find an island location that will allow us to run a fun bed and breakfast or a fun restaurant and still have a place to sing.
Very nice.
So I am now, Italian, French, German, a little bit of Greek, a little bit of Mandarin, a little bit of Russian and Latin were all in my wheelhouse from singing opera, but Spanish wasn't. So I am now on my 259th day of Duolingo Spanish as something new and exciting, but also because I'd love to be able to sing in it. So that's what's going on as well now.
That is fantastic. I love it. Comments coming in. Merlin Maureen, you have become a Lovity. You are now a Lovity on the gym. Well, you became as a viewer. Now you're a Lovity as a guest. So you're at level 2. There, as I say, there are Oscars, there are Grammys, there are Peabodys, Tellys, Emmys, all of the above. But then you get a Lovity from the Gym Masters show, the viewers and the host. How does it make you feel? Are your feet tingling right now? Most people say their feet are tingling when they get that Lovity.
We have a cosmic connection because I always sign off my emails with much light, love, and laughter.
See? So what happened for me was I said light, love, and levity, and I said it too fast 2 years ago, and out came the word lovity. And then I said, okay, gang, the viewers, because I'm very interactive with the viewers. I said, gang, what should we do? Let's take a poll. Grammatically, it's not Loveity, that whole after C thing and everything. So we could drop the E and make it Lovity. Right. Or if you want, we can keep the E. But, our 7th grade English teachers might slap our wrists if they realize that we're doing this. So they all voted. Keep the E, especially we were in the pandemic.
Perfect.
We don't want the word love touched at all, altered, Love. So it's Loveity, and that's, and it just came out of the mouth, and we kept with it. And that's how the Lovity Squad started. And they call this Lovity Hall, me, Mr. Lovity. You are now a Lovity, and we could use a little more Lovity too, huh?
I am honored. And now I know about the hearts. So that's very cool.
Yes. Do you have a website?
It's in construction at the moment. I did have one, but we are putting something else back together. So I will keep you posted.
Keep us posted, and I will share it with everybody. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you.
Absolutely. Right back at you. It's been a lot of fun. Absolutely. So I look forward to crossing paths in person.
Yes. At a good New York diner, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
For some split pea soup. Oh, that's right. And
that's
a Monte Cristo. And a Monte Cristo.
That's the actor's connection.
Monte Cristos were usually happening at 2:00 in the morning after a show or something. This was fantastic. We shall, as we say to everybody, keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back anytime, Maureen. And as you have been doing, spread the word about our show. Let everybody know we're here. If you know of other folks you think would like to pop on, they're all welcome. Thank you, Maureen, for being here and sharing your beautiful music and voice with us. Kathleen Walker watching in New York City. Thanks, Kathleen. Maureen, you're a beautiful person. From the other Maureen, this Maureen in Arizona, Maureen Wiedepol, she just retired recently after many years in the healthcare industry as a nurse. So she worked through the pandemic and all of it there in Arizona. The world is so lucky to have you. Thank you for being such a fabulous guest this evening. She's one of our diehard lovedies. So is Maureen. So is Merlin in Canada. Maureen, you have become a lovedy and still are. I love that. Jane watching in Sweden. Thanks for being here tonight, Maureen. And thanks, Jem. You are very, very welcome. Jane in Sweden. And Michael, beautiful show. Thank you very much. Christopher Joseph in Ohio. Thanks, Maureen, for sharing your talent as well as your humanity. Very beautifully said. Christine Clifton in North Carolina. All words of wisdom, Maureen and Jim. Words to live by. And Michael is verklempt. I love that. Good stuff, huh? Good stuff. If you want to feel good, just to watch one of our episodes or be a guest and look what happens. So looking forward to many more shows with you, Maureen, coming up as well. Good stuff. And again, if people want to know about Cosmic Connections, again, the show is live now. So if they watch this 5 months from now, it's past tense. But for those watching live, they go to, is there a website or somewhere they go to learn about Cosmic Connections?
Actually, if you Google Cosmic Connections, the lyrics of Michael Colby, the streaming comes up. But Don't Tell Mamas is where the show is going to be in New York. It's on their website. It goes right there, which is great. So we're excited about that. Totally. Yeah.
That is great. This was fantastic, and really enjoy all the time learning more about your incredible background and sharing it with our lovely viewers watching around the world. We wish you nothing but continued blessings and joy in your life, Maureen, and we will definitely chat again soon, because somehow I think we're cousins somehow. We're cousins somewhere, somehow.
The Irish English part, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes. Cosmic Cousin Connections.
Cosmic Cousin Connections. And I also like your sign off. So the other connection we have, I never say goodbye. I always say to be continued. Yes,
that's exactly right. I love that. That's exactly right. And that's what it shall be. Ms. Taylor, to be continued. Thanks for joining us, Maureen. It was a blessing. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Have a terrific weekend, okay?
Cheers. You as well. You as well.
Take care now.
Take care.
Bye-bye. One and only Maureen Taylor gracing our presence here live on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series from New York City. Did you guys enjoy yourself? Thanks for all of the comments. Thanks for all of the wonderful words that you guys have been expressing during the course of the show as well. This really was a fantastic show. Award-winning soprano, actress, and so much more. You got a chance to learn a little bit more about her background. Maybe even for the first time, learn about Maureen. That's what we love to do here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We thank her for being with us. Want to remind you, too, if you didn't see the episode where Marion Ross was with us, yes, the incomparable, she's 93 now. We had a brilliant conversation. She was Marion Cunningham on Happy Days, actress, author, new book, My Days. And she was live from California from the Happy Days Ranch. That's her estate in California where she lives. She calls it the Happy Days Estate. And it was a breathtaking conversation. Her son, Jim, was with her too, who is also a brilliant performer. I want to let you know as well, on Sunday, do not miss this episode on Sunday, because we are going to be celebrating everything royal. We have British royal family commentator, also founder of the British Monarch Society, as well as Home and Country magazine in London. Thomas J. Mace Archer Mills is going to be here live from London. He's a incredibly gifted person. He's also somebody who is very inspiring, and he is a very close friend of the royal family. He's very immersed with the family. And we're talking about, of course, Queen Elizabeth, Prince William, Kate Middleton, the whole gang. And this is going to be a very special episode as he joins us live from London this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. for those watching in Ireland, Scotland, of course, United Kingdom as well. And then on Monday, look who's with us, Glenn Scarpelli. Yes, you know Glenn. He played Alex on One Day at a Time. He's also a producer, a host. He was on The Love Boat, so many other shows. He's a former child star, and he's fantastic. This will be his second visit to the Jim Masters Show Live. Coming up this Monday, Glenn Scarpelli is back. Lots of new, cool, exciting things to share with us as well. So that's coming up on Monday. So again, we thank Maureen Taylor for joining us here on the show. She was really, really wonderful. And again, don't forget to join us on Sunday as we celebrate everything royal, the royal family, British royal family commentator and expert, Thomas J. Mace, Archer Mills. Now, he's coming on because the Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee is coming up in April, and he's involved with incredible artists in this new song that's going to be debuted during Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee in April. So there's a lot of extra reason why he's coming on the Jim Masters Show Live. He's a fan of our show. He's all excited. I was talking to his PR reps and all, because they approached us and said, would Thomas wants to come on the show. A lot of the guests say that I want to come on your show, and we really love that. And so he's very excited. He's going to be very excited on Sunday, and we're excited already. Kathleen says, a great and talented guest. Thank you, Jim. My pleasure, Kathleen. YouTube be continued. Yes, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, gang, it is Jim Masters TV. There's over 600 plus episodes waiting for your viewing pleasure to binge watch. You got the weekend coming. Binge watch some of the great episodes, poignant conversations, amazing entertainment and guests, all there for you. And don't forget, give this episode a like. Click that thumbs up icon on the YouTube channel. Give it a like and leave a comment on the channel as well. We appreciate that. We respond, but also YouTube loves it too. They'll take this episode and they'll blast it out even further all around the world. Whenever you see this, gang, you know you're going to have a good time here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Always great times. Thanks to everybody for all these great comments. We see some more still coming in here. We really appreciate it. You guys are the very, very best. Don't forget to share the lovity. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine, of course, is loving family and friends, but I love tennis and cycling and music and writing and, of course, the ocean. And my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years is also Zen for me as well. So find your Zen place, find your talent, and share it with the world. What a great conversation this was, and hearing the beautiful voice of Maureen just made me smile. Thanks for being with us as always, Maureen, lovely Maureen there in Arizona. So nice to see you here, and thanks for that wonderful comment as well. A couple more coming in, then we will wrap up. You sent your childhood picture. That's great. We're going to have an upcoming episode celebrating our childhoods, and we're saying to the audience, send in one of your favorite childhood photos to us. You can send it to jimmasterstv@gmail.com, our show's email, or you can send it to jimmastersmedia@gmail.com, either there or jimmasterstv@gmail.com. And in an upcoming episode, we're going to be celebrating our childhoods, and we're going to be showing your childhood photos on that special Host Lovity episode. So we look forward to that. And yes, you have your moving day there in New York. Good luck with that, Kathleen. I know it's a big day when you have to move, right? Jen Barry enjoyed herself tonight from Allentown, Pennsylvania. And Christopher Joseph, good to see you here, Christopher. It's been a long time, lovely. Great show tonight, Jimbo. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Always good when you're here with us on the Jim Masters Show Live. And thanks for all these great comments. As we always say, we do not say goodbye here because we'd love to see you again. The door is always open for you here. We always welcome you. You know, it's amazing. I was looking at the analytics. The folks who watch our show come from all around the world, and they're an incredible span of ages too. I mean, teenage, middle age, senior, male, female, all different demographics, all different incomes, all different belief systems. I think it's fantastic because everybody's welcome to join us here. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your zip code, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your height, your weight, how much money you have in the bank, religious views, political views, none of that matters. You're all welcome here at the Jim Masters Show Live, Lovety Hall. And it's great to have you guys here. If this was your first time here, we welcome you and we hope to see you again soon. We will be back and we'll have many more shows for you as well. Christine Clifton says, Jim, it was terrific learning more about the very talented Maureen Taylor. I loved listening to all the songs on the video clips. Great stories shared as well. Another wonderful episode. Lovety. Thank you, Christine. Watching as always, Lovety Christine in North Carolina. Jane says good night and everyone. And Jim, you know, our wrap-ups are kind of like the end of the Waltons. Good night, John Boy. And if you didn't know, we've had several of the actors and actresses from the Waltons here on our show. You may want to binge watch some of that as well. All right, gang, we're going to scoot out. We love you all. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. And thanks for being with us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Again, we don't say goodbye. We say see you later, slancha, cheers, ciao, shalom, avida zain, sayonara, and all the rest. This is Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, I'll be waiting for you right here. We'll keep the porch light on for you, and you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care. Be well. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.